Good afternoon, teachers, elders and my dear students. A hearty welcome to today's live English classroom. Now children, let's look at the pictures. Are you able to see the picture? It's a familiar picture of a bat and a ball. Now, look at another interesting picture. You see the players playing the game. Now, you see another interesting picture. You see a batsman with a bat. It's a willow in his hand. Now, you see one more picture of a cricket ball. You see the position of a batsman on the pitch. This is another picture of the same game. Did you see another picture? Now children, you looked at all these pictures. Which game is it? You could easily realize it as cricket. Isn't it, children? Now children, look at some more interesting pictures. You see the picture of our captain, skipper MS Dhoni. Another Indian cricketer, Virat Kohli. Another Indian cricket player, Shikhar Dhawan. Now, do you see another picture? It is picture of VVS Lakshman, Vangipurapu Venkatasai Lakshman. Did you see the picture, children? Yeah. This picture is something different from the other players. He belongs to not this era of players, another era of players. Isn't it, children? Now, in that era of players, you could see the Indian captain Kapil Dev. You might have not seen the captain or VVS Lakshman playing cricket, but you could see their stories, their pictures, their life stories, or in Sports Star, you might have observed their matches. Now you could see one more player, Sunil Gavaskar. We could come to know many issues or many stories of Sunil Gavaskar in sunny days. Now another picture of Muhammad Azharuddin, who was once upon a time the captain of our Indian cricket team. Now once again, friends, let's recall the difference between games and sports. In the previous class, I have told you what is the difference between a game and a sport. Now, cricket is a game since a group or a team of players are involved. The victory or defeat is the collective effort of all the players, isn't it? Now, let's open the textbook and go to VVS Lakshman, very, very special. Now children, if you closely look at the format of the text, there is an introductory passage and there are only two persons introducing each other on an important occasion. Have you opened your text and seen the introductory passage? And the format gives you only two persons. One is a reporter from Sports Star, SS, and VVS is Vangipurapu Venkatasai Lakshman. The text or the given genre has some specific features. Let's look at the specific features of the discourse. You all know, children, what a discourse is. More than a sentence, what we pen in our own idea or in our own opinion is called a discourse. And this discourse, you all know, there are various styles or literary styles, and they are called various types of discourses. So, a discourse is more than a sentence which is written in our own words. Now, the discourse which is given in the textbook, please observe. The discourse gives you the format of an interview. On the D-Day or the important day, or when VVS Lakshman called it a day, there was an interview from a reporter of Sports Star with VVS Lakshman. That interview is given in our text. The text gives you two ideas: how to write an interview and what did VVS Lakshman speak on that day when he called it a day, that is when he is going to retire from cricket. Now, what are the important features of an interview? An interview has three main parts. The first part is called the introduction. The middle, all juicy questions and answers, is the second part. The third part is the end or conclusion. Here, only two people speak on that particular occasion, and some helpful and interesting information is shared by the two people. Now, you see the picture of a sandwich. Why sandwich picture is seen, children? In what way sandwich is related to an interview? As a sandwich contains an upper layer, a middle layer which is very juicy and very tasty and delicious, and the third layer which is as normal as the first layer. Similarly, an interview has three parts. The first one with introduction and a question on the particular occasion. Second one is all the juicy details what the interviewer asks the interviewee on that particular occasion, and the last part or the comment at the conclusion of the interview. That's the reason why an interview is here compared to a sandwich. Now, children, the very important thing is what are the steps to write an interview. First, prepare interviewer questions. A good interviewer asks open-ended questions. What are open-ended questions? Questions which have many number of answers. There is no particular idea or a main idea or a central idea, but there are many number of opinions, and the author or the writer or the interviewer can answer the question basing on his own opinion. That is called as an open-ended question. Questions you can also, since you have seen the picture of a sandwich, open-ended questions are nothing but the juicy details of the interview. Next, the closed questions. The closed questions have simple answer like maybe, could be, yes. How do they begin? They begin with WH words: where, when, why, who, how, describe, tell me about. Now, children, in our textbook VVS Lakshman, very special, there are many number of such kind of questions. What are those questions? Generally, all those questions are beginning with where, when, why, who and how. We will go into the details of all those questions in the further part of our lesson. Now, generally an interview should end with thanks and your comments. So, once again, let me tell you or reiterate, emphasize the steps to write an interview. First step is we have to write interviewer question. Who is an interviewer, children? The person who is interviewing the person. For example, in our textbook, interviewer is SS and interviewee is VVS Lakshman. Now, you could clearly understand who is interviewer and who is interviewee. Now, the second step is you have to prepare a set of open-ended questions related to the occasion. Next, the they are called the juicy details of the sandwich. Next, there could be, in the juicy details, there could be not only open-ended questions, there could be some closed questions. Next, the last part of the interview is end with thanks and your comments. So, the three parts of the interview. Now children, not only an interview is given in your textbook, let's watch a mock interview with Chota Lakshman.
How do you rate your cricket journey? I feel it was really wonderful since I was ready to play the trophy for Hyderabad by the time I was ready. How many long years you have been with international cricket? I had been with international cricket for 16 long years. How was your journey during 16 long years? It was really a satisfying journey. Could you tell us the factors that lead to your success in international cricket? It was a matter of it was my parents and my family. Who are your role models in cricket? Azhar, Sachin Tendulkar and Kapil. Who is your lifetime hero? It is my dad. What are your plans after retirement? Will I think of start a cricket academy? What is your message for the youth? To trust success and failure on the same wavelength. Hello Lakshman. Hello Mama. I am Manisha working for Sports Children's Journal.
Now, there was an interview, a mock interview was shown. Interviewer is the girl, interview is Chota Lakshman. What is the sequence of the questions that were asked in the interview? The first question was about the most recent achievement of the person. Not only this interview, Nana, for every interview should have some sequence of the questions. So, this could be a general sequence for any interview. The first question should be most recent achievement of the person. The second and third questions should be about some past achievements. Fourth question should deal with failure, or you may call it as sometimes downfall or sometimes the difficult times. The fifth questions should be the idols or support. Either it could be parents, it could be any role models or anybody who has guided the person to excel himself. Sixth and seventh questions is related to the profession. Eighth question is related to future plans. Ninth question is views of the person about any recent issue. 10th question is message for audience. Once again, first question should be about most recent achievement of the person. Second and third question should be about past achievements. Fourth question should be about failure, downfall or difficult times. Fifth question is idol or support. Sixth and seventh questions are related to profession. Eighth question should be about future plans. Ninth question is views of the person about any recent issue. 10th question is message for audience. if at all children, we write 10 questions for an interview, they need to be in this particular order. That is more comfortable both for the interviewer and the interviewee. Now, since interview, as we have discussed it as a discourse, let us see some discourse markers. Now, first of all, even if you see into the textbook of VVS Lakshman, very special, you see an introduction before the interview begins. That introduction should be in brackets. The introductory line should be with the first question. Questions always need to be realistic and logical. For example, earlier when we have seen the mock interview, they have talked about, or the interview was like this. First of all, they talked about why Lakshman called it the day when he is going to retire from cricket, then one or two questions about his recent achievements, or about when we look back at cricket, how was cricket, how did he feel about cricket, later about his influence, whose influence was there on him. Now, later it was about downfall, later some other questions where they talk about closed questions, where we talk about Lakshman's hobbies, food, and who were the heroes he liked, whom he admired, and all this. So there you see a particular sequence for asking these questions, and they were related to his personal life, that is about his hobbies, about his food, whom he admires, who was his childhood hero, what is his plan after his retirement. So when we look at all these questions, they need to be realistic and logical. Definitely this kind of discourse marker is seen in this particular interview, isn't it, children? Now, there should be some coherence or link between consecutive questions. In the previous talk, I told you about the questions what I told you was second and third questions should talk about the recent achievements, and fourth questions talks about downfall. Now, there is some logic, or there is some consecutiveness. That means after we have talked about achievements, we are talking about some difficult times. Sometimes we may also talk about the future plans, or sometimes the questions may also be like this, related to the professional growth, or questions may also be some kind of thing where some message to the audience. So all these are interrelated with each other, they are consecutive, they are logical, and they are also consecutive in nature, in the sense, first of all we talked about achievements, then we went to downfall, then we are talking about hobbies, now we are talking about the last one is the message to the audience. So in this way, questions, the discourse, whatever we are talking, or the interviewer whenever he is preparing his 10 questions, there should be coherence or link between the consecutive questions. That is the meaning of one more discourse marker. So children, first of all, introductory line with first question, second one is it needs to be realistic and logical, third one is the coherence or link between consecutive questions. Now, whenever we are talking about closed questions, they should begin with, all the closed questions usually begin with a WH word. You already know, children, WH words are nothing but interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns, they generally end with a question mark. All WH questions end with a question mark. Then follow conventions of writing. Follow conventions of writing in the sense, interview format is to be followed. We have to write to the left hand side the interviewer and interview, their short forms, followed by a colon, then begin with a WH question or any open-ended question which requires a question mark. Otherwise, it may not require a question mark. If at all WH question you are asking, it should definitely end with a question mark. So these conventions of writing need to be followed, and whenever you address the person also, we need to have capital letters. So all these conventions of writing, along with punctuation marks, conventions of writing also includes punctuation marks, all these need to be included in the interview discourse. So this interview discourse is the literary style which is adopted to interview VVS Lakshman on his day of retirement, or when he is announced his day of retirement. Now let's watch a mock interview with a state cricket player.
amazement, he is not only a cricketer but also a softball player. In 2013-14, he represented Andhra Pradesh in C.K. Naidu School National Cricket Tournament held at Indore, Madhya Pradesh. He is a sportsman who represented Kakatiya University at inter-university level in 2015-16 held at Chennai. He played for inter-district cricket tournament for 10 years. Recently, he represented Kakatiya University at All India Inter-University level in Kottayam, Kerala as a part of softball game. Who has been the biggest influence on you?
My parents, because they encouraged me in every moment of my life, even in education as well as sports. They allowed me to select my choice. That's why the credit goes to them. Obviously, my passion was my choice.
What did cricket teach you?
Cricket have taught me how a man can survive in society, how to behave in our surroundings and with other people. It taught me to behave like a balanced individual. Manisha, it also taught neither get discouraged nor get to be overexcited.
What was the most difficult phase of your career?
When I was in 10th standard, I have to focus both on board exams and as well as sports. But I could not balance the both. So I felt that it was toughest phase of in my life. Finally, I had to choose board exams.
How can modern day young talent can make cricket as big as you did?
In India, cricket is a very passionate game. A lot of people dream is to become a cricketer. Recently, BCC has introduced a good platform for young talented children in the form of Indian Premier League.
As a cricketer, from how could you to meet your challenges?
My hard work and my dedication. Moreover, when my goal was clear, I used to get energy to meet challenges.
Mention some biggest moments as a cricketer.
There are some moments where I felt happy. Represented AP School Nations CK Naidu Cup at Madhya Pradesh. Represented Kakatiya University Inter College Cricket Tournament in Chavita University at Chennai. Represented 10 years for Warangal district cricket team.
I shall be delighted if you could tell something about your hobbies.
Actually, my hobbies are mainly first of all playing cricket, listening to music. Even when I get free time, I love to watch movies.
Who are the cricketers whom you admire?
Definitely, it's Virender Sehwag because he's my favorite cricketer. Because his batting style is very unique and he's the entertainment of cricket.
Which TV program do you like to watch?
I love to watch all sports channels, especially cricket, and I love to watch music channels.
Who was your childhood hero?
Definitely, it's my mom because she encouraged me in my every aspect of my life. She is my hero.
What is your favorite cuisine?
Hyderabadi biryani.
Thank you.
Now children, you have watched a mock interview with a state cricket player. There also you could see the interviewer asking the state cricket player about his achievements, who was the main part or what was a difficult time, where the state cricket player told that when he was appearing for his 10th board examination, he has also to represent some state cricket team. Then later, his downfall, later how did he get energy to play cricket once again, then whom he admires, what is his favorite food, who was Suresh's childhood hero, and all these. So, now by all these what you could find is the interview discourse follows some pattern. As I already told you, this pattern of asking questions, the interviewer needs to have some introduction with the introductory line followed by 10 different questions. Those 10 different questions should have some coherence and logic. There should be some link between one question and the other. And also it should end with a comment or a complimentary clause. So this way we need to write an interview. Now let us see our lesson VVS Lakshman very special in terms of a discourse and also in terms of VVS Lakshman's opinion on cricket or on the day of his retirement or when he called the day for cricket, what are his opinions about his opinions and experiences about cricket. Now let us see into our text. The 37-year-old batsman shares his feelings with Sports Star, isn't it, children? Now let us keep, when we read these questions and when we look at the questions, let us keep that interview discourse in our mind and let's observe the questions. The first question was about the journey of cricket. What did Lakshman say? Lakshman felt it very wonderful since Hyderabad Cricket Association promoted him to Ranji Trophy by 18 and later 16 long years of journey of cricket was very satisfying for him. Now, if you look at this answer given by Lakshman, that tells about how he felt about cricket. Now let's recall the discourse once again, that on the day of his retirement, on an important occasion, there should be some introduction, and in this introduction Sports Star asked Lakshman about his feelings for cricket, and this was the answer given by VVS Lakshman, Vangipurapu Venkatasai Lakshman. Now the next question in our text is about the influence on him. What is the influence? What do you mean by influence? Influence is somebody whose idea you take into consideration while taking a decision. When you resolve some issues, you take their suggestion or idea or their experience or their opinion. The next question about influence on him, he talks about his parents who gave him freedom to choose cricket, choose his cricket passion. Verdict of the parents was not imposed, as we have seen in the previous lesson also. VVS Lakshman chose cricket because cricket was his passion. The most important question was what he learned from cricket. Lakshman gave a beautiful answer, that was character. Now all of you children who are with the lesson have to think over what is character. Character is our behavior, how we move about. The next question in our textbook was about the difficult phase. As we have seen in the mock interview just now with the state cricket player, there was a difficult time where he had to choose two things: board examination, state meter, means state sports. He has to take part in state sports. Similarly, if we go to VVS Lakshman, as in our textbook, there was a difficult phase where he has to make the choice between sports and academics. Next, the next question talks about the opportunities for young cricketers. VVS Lakshman says nowadays there are many opportunities, and IPL is one example which talks about opportunities for young cricketers. The next question was about how he met challenges in his life. The next question is about Lakshman's best achievements. What is the important and biggest achievement, or the best achievement in the journey of cricket as per Lakshman's records. He made 281 runs against Aussies in Kolkata in 2001. Now once again children, let us look at the discourse. First there was an introduction, then later it was followed by an influence. Then what did he learn from cricket, or what did cricket teach him? Then the difficult phase in the journey of cricket. Then there is one more question also children. Whenever his achievements are dwarfed, what do you mean by dwarfed? That means when there are many obstacles in the path of our achievement, how could he get energy? That's also one more question which is quoted in our textbook, which the interviewer asked the interviewee, Mr. Lakshman. There was also one more question. What was that question which I gave you previously? That is, what are the opportunities provided for young cricketers nowadays in India? Then the question which recently stated question is, what is Lakshman's best achievement? Now, if you observe all these questions are realistic and they are consecutive, and each question has a link between one question and the other. That is to be, along with Lakshman's journey of cricket, this is also to be underlined in our mind how an interview discourse begins and how it continues. These are some of the juicy details which are provided by VVS Lakshman. Next, in his opinion, how Saurav means Saurav Ganguly, Sachin and MS Dhoni contributed for India and their leadership. Because he was a man who played in that particular era where Saurav, Sachin and MS Dhoni, all these people contributed for India, and VVS Lakshman was also one among them. Then what is the role of these great people, great cricketers whom you also admire? What is their role and what is their leadership to make India a cricket star? In terms of VVS Lakshman, Saurav Ganguly, his leadership, and coach John Wright, they changed the ultimate scenario of our Indian cricket. This was the answer which was given by Mr. Lakshman to one of the questions asked by Sports Star. Now, there was one more incident which is called funniest by VVS Lakshman. That is called the funniest moment. What is that funniest moment? What is the funniest moment is the question asked. Closed question it is, asked by Sports Star. He says, Lakshman and Saurav collided while taking a single in one-day international cricket. His collision, he feels, was very amusing and also embarrassing. You can imagine that collision in your mind. Sometimes when you play cricket for your school also, this might have taken place, and that is also recorded in your mind as a funniest moment. Isn't it, children? Next, not only a funniest moment, there is also a disappointing moment. What is a disappointing moment for VVS Lakshman? Whenever Lakshman dropped a catch, he used to feel very bad as a bowler felt a lot of effort or kept a lot of effort and he dropped it. It's not that he dropped, but he used to realize the effort of the bowler and how disappointing it was for him to lose the catch or to drop the catch. So these two, funniest moment and disappointing moment, are once again closed questions where it was only in the case of VVS Lakshman when he played cricket. Next, the continuation of the closed questions. The hobbies of VVS Lakshman: spending time with his family, and also very important for all of us, reading biographies of successful individuals. In the same unit, you have seen the biography. It's not a biography, but very close to a biography of a Pole vaulter. Now, in this lesson also, V.V.S. Lakshman gets inspired or learns many things when he reads biographies of successful individuals. You, if at all you have that habit, please continue, children, otherwise develop this habit of reading biographies of successful individuals. By lifetime stories, we learn many things which are also applicable in our life. Now, about his family. He was very proud of his family and loves to spend time with his wife and children. This also comes under one of the closed questions. Now, he admires some people in cricket. Who are those people he admires? Who are his role models? He is Mr. Kapil Dev, who was Indian cricketer for a very long time, Indian captain for a very long time, and we got World Cup during his time. And next is Mohammad Azharuddin, and next is Sachin Tendulkar, whom we call Master Blaster. Next, what is V.V.S. Lakshman's favorite food? He likes vegetarian food. Next, who are V.V.S. Lakshman's favorite singers? It is S.P. Balasubramaniam and Kishore Kumar. What is his favorite TV program? During his leisure time, what kind of programs he watches? He watches Wimbledon matches. Next, what does he love to watch on TV? He loves to watch singing and dancing programs on TV. Now, the most important thing, who is his childhood hero? It was his dad, Dr. Shantaram and Satyabhama. Both of them are doctors by profession. And his childhood hero is his dad. Next, post-retirement plan. Again, if you come to a discourse, the end part of the sandwich, we should talk about something which we started and something which is very ordinary which we end. In the sense, how we start the same topic we try to conclude. So what was the last question asked by the interviewer? Because the interview took place on the day we call the day means the day of his retirement. That is, he wants to set up a cricket school and an academy. He wrote setting up a cricket school means because he was calling it a day. On that day only, the interviewer asked the interviewee the question. So he said, as a post part of his cricket retirement plan, he wants to set up a cricket school. So he didn't yet start the day of his retirement. So he has given it as setting up a cricket school and an academy. Now, this exclusive interview shows the sequence and development of an interview with V.V.S. Lakshman as an interviewee. The surprising and interesting details is very interesting detail He is the great grand nephew of our former President of India, that is Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. Great grand nephew of our former President of India, that is Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. Okay, children? So, once again, I would like to reiterate the details of VVS Lakshman as well as the interview. So, interview should have an introduction. Middle portion, the juicy details, should be open-ended questions and closed questions. Closed questions generally start with WH questions, and the end part should be a conclusion, thanking, or a complimentary close, or ending with a question which is related to the total interview. So, this way the development of an interview should take place. The first question, introduction, second and third question about achievements, third question, the second and third question about achievements, fourth question should be about downfall, fifth question should be about future plans, next about the professional growth, next about what are the opportunities related to the profession, then about the message. Like this, all the questions should be related one after the other. They need to have some sequence and logic, and they need to be realistic. If at all they start with a WH question, they should end with a question mark. So, it is a great opportunity for me, and I thank SCRT, TSAT, teachers, elders, and my dear students. At the same time, I would like to take thank you from you all, and I would like to thank Google and also YouTube for the visuals and pictures. Thank you. Thank you once again.